July 21st, 1962, the Marvin Griffin campaign comes to Statesboro, Georgia. From throughout southeast Georgia, motorcades of Marvin Griffin supporters converge on Statesboro, seat of Bullock County, for the third great rally in the Griffin campaign for the governorship. It was on this same site just 2 weeks ago that Carl Sanders, a promising young politician, kicked off his campaign in what now appears almost certainly to be a futile attempt to gain the reins of state government. On that occasion, the Sanders people pulled out all the stops. But despite their best efforts, despite the lure of an old-fashioned barbecue, they were able to muster a small crowd of only about 2,500 persons. Today, the eyes of Georgia are on Statesboro. Can Marvin Griffin, the old campaigner, draw a larger crowd than did Sanders? Griffin does not have the lure of barbecue, hot dogs, or entertainment. He has only himself, plus a message of vital importance to the future of his state to offer to the people of Georgia. Will they come? Will they respond to the Griffin appeal? If so, it will be a clear-cut indication that Marvin Griffin is the front-runner in the five-man race for the governorship. In just a little while, we will know the answer. The motorcades keep coming from every direction. And now comes one of the most exciting moments of this historic afternoon. The arrival of the great motorcade of 137 cars and 2 buses from Augusta, Richmond County. And folks, that's Carl Sanders' hometown. These are Carl Sanders' home folks, the people who know him best, turning out en masse for Marvin Griffin rally. Their appearance here seems to confirm reports that Carl Sanders will not even be able to carry his own hometown in the September 12th primary, that Marvin Griffin will sweep Augusta and Richmond County by a landslide. And now we know the answer. This is what everybody has been waiting to see. Just look at the people. This great gathering jammed into the Bullock County Courthouse Square obviously numbers into the thousands. Newsmen who also attended the Sanders rally 2 weeks ago say this turnout for Marvin Griffin is 3 to 4 times as large as Sanders' little get-together. Says one Griffin supporter, there should be no doubt now whatsoever as to where the people of Georgia stand. They stand with Marvin Griffin. The Atlanta newspapers, backing Carl Sanders, have said repeatedly that political rallies are a thing of the past. But just look at this. What would they say if Sanders could draw a crowd like this? As the people gather, distinguished guests invited to sit on the platform take their seats. Among them is a majority of the members of the Georgia State Board of Regents, members of the State Board of Education, and the president-elect of the Georgia Education Association. Where do those entrusted with the education of Georgia's youth stand? Well, it's evident. They stand with Marvin Griffin. And now, Georgia's next governor, Marvin Griffin.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished local, county, and state officials, distinguished platform guests, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow Georgians, and thank you, my good friend Miss Lily, for your most complimentary introduction of me to this mammoth crowd of Georgians and to the radio audience of our state. I wish to recognize the presence here today of the distinguished chairman of the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, the Honorable Robert O. Arnold, and 10 members of the Board of Regents. I also want to recognize on the platform and in the crowd several hundred college students who are young Georgians for Griffin for governor. indicates that friends of higher education in Georgia know what Marvin Griffin did for the university system when he was governor. And they know that I shall continue to move our great educational institution forward. I also want, and there seems to be, Education Day at Statesboro in Bullitt County. I want to recognize the presence here of the President-elect of the Georgia Education Association, the Honorable J.W. McAllister. And I want to say to all these distinguished educators that you know there's too many educated people in this crowd to be hoodlums in Georgia. I want to welcome this mammoth crowd of resolute Georgians, and I want to point out to the radio audience that it is a crowd twice as big as the one that came to Statesboro to And I want to tell you something. If you read last night's Atlanta Journal, you'll see the greatest violation of ethics in journalism that you've ever seen. I gave them this speech with a note on the top of it not to be released until after 4 p.m. Saturday. And what did they do? They talked about me being a crystal ball reader. Well, I must be pretty good. Look at the size of this crowd. And I want to tell you another thing. My fellow Georgians. As I look at this huge crowd of friends and supporters, I resent with all my heart the assertion on the part of my opponent that only goons, racketeers, and hoodlums are supporting me in this race for governor. Now, my friends, just who is this arrogant, short-shirted opponent of mine who would call Marvin Griffin and the members of his family goons, hoodlums, racketeers? I want to say this to you. My maternal great-great-grandfather, Jesse Moore, is buried on the farm he owned in Bullitt County before 1796, when Bullitt County became a county. This mammoth crowd today is the answer. We broke his back here today. The size of this distinguished crowd of Georgians portends a sweeping victory on September the 12th. I want to say to you, my friends, that we are setting up in Georgia today not only an old-fashioned revival in politics, but a crusade, if you please. We are today members of the NAACP. Now, I want to tell you what that is. That is the National Association for the Advancement of Decent People. And when my opponent's chief cohort, Martin Luther King, makes the bold assertion that he will turn old Georgia upside down, I want to say to him and to my opponent and to his ilk and to his kind that they can't turn Georgia upside down, but we Georgians, marching with joined arms and solid ranks, will turn it upside down at the ballot boxes of this state on September the 12th. For truly, my fellow Georgians, we are not members of the NAACP, and I want to tell you what that is. That's the National Association for the advancement of Carl's politics. My friends, thank you. My friends, thank you. Thank you very much. But let me go. We own a statewide radio network, and I'd like to give them as much of this mustard as I can. My friend, 8 years ago, when I took office as chief executive, the people of Georgia demanded progress. They wanted to see their state go forward in education, road building, industrial development, old age benefits, recreation, agriculture, and public health. I went before the General Assembly my first year in office, and we, working in close cooperation, designed a program of progress which is unparalleled in the history of Georgia. Under the program, I kept faith with the people of Georgia and with the General Assembly. We raised teachers' pay. We built a science center. We built an atomic reactor. We built buildings at Georgia Southern. We raised old age benefits. Progress, indeed, was on the move. You can see the results of the progress during my administration right here in Statesboro. You can see the Student Center, the Hurley Building, and the corrupt building at Georgia Southern. I can take you to Athens, and you can see the $14 million Science Center. I can take you, my friends, to Georgia Tech, and you can see the new electronic engineering building and an atomic reactor under construction, designed and needed in this nuclear age. I can take you to Brunswick and Savannah, and you can see port development, to Jekyll Island and to Stone Mountain, which was purchased during my administration. I can take you to Dahlonega, to Carrollton, and to Valdosta, and to the experiment station in our state. And my friends, we could go on and on and on if time permitted. These are tangible things, and they will last, and they will serve this great state for many years to come. But in addition, ask any school teacher, any school bus driver, any lunchroom worker if they benefited under my administration, and the answer will be yes. Yes, my friends, it can be accounted for as progress for the state of Georgia. Now, my friends, the people of this state must know that the present administration, in which my arrogant opponent occupies the position of President Pro Tem of the Senate and is reported to be one of the confidential advisors to the present governor, has benefited from the work and from the efforts of the Griffin administration. My friends, this present administration, as a result of my work and the courage of the General Assembly of my administration, has had the unbelievable sum of $331 million more to spend in their 4 years of office than I had during my 4 years of office. There is a question that needs to be answered, and they can't answer it truthfully. That question is, where is the money? Where is the money? This is almost $100 million a year, more than I ever had. We hear much about honesty of the present administration, efficiency of the present administration, and all the money the present administration is supposed to have saved. Forget about that. But the people of Georgia won't forget about the additional $331 million. Where is it? Where is it? Where are their science centers? Where is the people of Georgia can expect 4 more years of the same kind of government they have had for the last 4 years. This is a dismal prospect, and I say, for goodness sakes, deliver us from that. Does that mean that an additional $331 million is likely to go down the drain? I've tried to find it. I've been over to the auditors and looked at the record. And all I can find are figures that show such and such was spent, but there are no tangible results. From the time I left office on January the 13th, 1959, to September the 1st of this year, the authority debt, yes, the bonded debt of this state will have risen $212 million. Is that pay as you go? Is that pay as you go? You see, my friend, this crowd does not have the guts to come right out and say they were raising your taxes, but they have saddled this state for 30 years, with more than $200 million additional debt. We will pay for it. Our children will pay for it. But the question is again, where did it go? Where did it go? About the only thing I can find is where they went up and down the state of Georgia, widening stuff 2 feet and spreading a little black dirt in the crowd. These improvements will be gone long before they're ever paid for. You got something for your money under the Griffin administration. Where is the $331 million under the administration which is supporting my arrogant opponent? And speaking of breaking promises, or lying, as he calls it, it seems to me that about 4 years ago, this summer, I remember another young fellow running about this state, pictured as another shining knight in armor, raising up his hand with fists balled up, shaking them in your faces, saying to the people of Georgia, no, not one. No, not one. I tell you what I intend to do. I shall improve the educational system of this state and increase the salaries of teachers, bus drivers, and lunchroom technicians. I will provide a quality education for our children. When I was governor, schools were segregated and open. They will be kept open, and I will fight to the last ditch against unlimited integration. I shall reorganize the state highway department and take it out of politics. I can't see any use in keeping 3 members of the highway board in Atlanta on a full-time salary when they spend most of their 4-year terms trying to elect the next governor. Now, I have no objection to a public official taking a position in politics, but when he's drawing full-time pay, he should give full time to the state on his job. It is morally wrong for him to spend the state's time and the state's money trying to elect a governor. We are going to reorganize the highway department and follow along the lines of the state of South Carolina, which has an excellent department, and several other states that have good departments. We'll take the best of all of those. I shall reorganize the Department of Commerce and create a vibrant program of industrial development for this state. It is vital that we begin to grow industrially and do so at a rapid rate. We like big industries to come to Georgia, and I shall seek and encourage them to do so. But, my friend, the secret of industrial development of our state is with small industries located in small communities throughout the length and breadth of Georgia. During the last 3 years, industrial employment in this state has risen only 1 8/10%. Only 6,000 new jobs have been added during this time, while during my administration, 20,000 new jobs and paychecks were added at an increase of 6 1/10%. Now, my opponent says that if we adhere to our traditions in Georgia, the tradition of segregation and the other heritages of old-fashioned decency and morality in government, we can't attract new industry to Georgia. Now look what has happened under their policy of surrender. The United States Rubber Company, one of the largest rubber companies in the world, was seeking a southern site, and they looked around Georgia at Athens, Macon, Columbus, and other places. They were invited to locate in Georgia. Now, on the 14th of this month, 1 week ago today, the United States Rubber Company announced that it would locate at Opelika, Alabama. Now, my friends, Alabama schools are still 100% segregated. The state of Alabama has just elected a great segregationist for governor, the Honorable George C. Wallace. The point is this. The point is this. We can still grow industrially and maintain our southern heritage. Alabama just proved it. So did I. When industrial employment grew during my administration 6 1/10% and only grew 1 8/10% after our southern heritage was lost in the state of Georgia. I increased the old age pension, monthly assistance check, $10.10 during my 4 years in office. For the past 3.5 years, it has been reduced instead of being increased. Next January, I shall increase these old age monthly assistance checks to $70 or $75 a month. It shall be done. And, my friends, it will be done. I will establish a humane program of penal rehabilitation, and I will construct juvenile detention homes, 1 in each congressional district, to take our children out of the common jails and to disassociate them from the company of hardened criminals. I will reestablish the recreational commission that my opponent led the list and voted to kill and destroy. I want to encourage a youth program in this state for the boys and girls of Georgia, to encourage them to utilize their time and effort in a worthwhile and a constructive way. I shall expand the facilities at Gracewood and reduce the waiting list, I hope, down to none. And I shall continue improvement at Milledgeville. I shall offer a plan of reapportionment that won't cost the taxpayers of Georgia anything, instead of having this crowd of poor leadership jump, buck, and hop trying to outguess the federal court. This will be the first order of business next January. My fellow Georgians, the issues in this campaign for governor are clear-cut. You must decide. My opponent is backed financially and in every other way by the biggest and richest banker in Georgia. There he is, ain't it a beaut? This man Mills B. Lane, president of the C&S National Bank. My opponent is backed to the hilt by the Ohio-owned integrationist propaganda machine known as the Atlanta Journal and the Atlanta Constitution. My opponent is backed to the hilt by Martin Luther King and his other NAACP agitators. These are the issues, and my opponent has told you untruth after untruth. I said I'd smoke him out on where he got his money from, and I smoked him out. My friends, to get the truth out of this fella is like pulling an eye tooth or a cat eating a grinding rock, but we got it coming now. Other admissions will be forthcoming. If it was not morally evil, why did he deny his connection with Mills B. Lane in the first place, if it wasn't morally evil? I want to say this to you in conclusion. You have, as Georgians, this afternoon from every nook and corner of this state, rededicated yourselves to the way of life established by our forefathers in this great state. You refuse to be propagandized. You refuse to be intimidated. You have met here in Statesboro, in the great old county of Bullock, by the thousands. And when the integrationist press begins to be afraid because their handmaiden and their candidate, my opponent, can't draw a crowd, they begin to write things like this. They say it's no longer popular to have rallies on Saturday afternoon. I tell you what's wrong with them. I tell you what's wrong with them. They say folks would rather look at ball games and go fishing, not Griffin folks. Now, it is time, my friends, to put up or shut up in Georgia. It is time to stand up for our state. Now, I need your help, my friends. I need your help. This crowd today shows what the people of Georgia think about the aspects and the underlying philosophy of politics in this race. I need your financial help. I need your prayers. I need you to help me in every way that you can. And if you will do that from now through September the 12th, I'll stay there. You can come to see me. You'll find me in the office, too. You'll find me there. All of you who are going to help me beat this crowd, hold up your hands.
And so Marvin Griffin passes another milestone in his great campaign for a return to the governorship. He has come to Statesboro, and thousands of his fellow Georgians have come with him. Thousands of his fellow Georgians have taken their stand. They stand with Marvin Griffin. And at the end of an historic speech, they surge to the platform to shake the hand of the man who, despite the smear tactics of enemies, stands preeminent among Georgia statesmen. Marvin Griffin, the people's choice for governor of Georgia.